G'day cocktail lover, what can I get for you today? I've been hearing a lot about milk clarified cocktails or milk punch. What's all that about? Well, milk clarification is quite an old technique. It's been around for at least 3, maybe even 400 years. Essentially, you add a drink that has some acidic content to milk and it will curdle the milk. I don't want to be negative, but I'd always associated curdled milk with milk that's off. I get why you might think that, but this is deliberately separating the milk into curds and whey, not letting it go off. And don't forget, making curds, that's the first step to making cheese. So is milk punch a cheese drink? Not quite. The curds aren't even in the drink. They're part of the process. If you want the science, casein proteins in milk bond with polyphenols and other molecules that are responsible for astringent and bitter tastes. And you actually strain out the curds in the clarification process, which means you leave those stronger flavors behind.
Ooh, science!
Yes, and in practical terms, what you get is a drink with the rough edges smoothed out, it's visually more appealing, it's clear rather than opaque or cloudy, and because the whey actually gets added to the drink, it has a silkier mouthfeel when you drink it.
I still don't quite get it. Can you make me a milk punch so I can see what it's all about?
I sure can. And here's a little tip for starting out. Because the clarification process softens all the flavors in the drink, it's a good idea to make a drink with really bold flavors, maybe stronger flavors than you would usually like. And I tell you what, inspired by that rather tropical shirt you're wearing, I'm going to make you a version of a Singapore Sling. But it will have some variations in the ingredients you don't usually see in a Singapore Sling.
So is it still a Singapore Sling if you're making a bunch of changes?
Look, given the source of the Singapore Sling, the Raffles Hotel has no real idea what the original recipe was, and they've changed the recipe they offer over the years, including marketing some pretty awful versions of it. I'm not going to get too upset if some wanker wants to come along and say they're a Puritan and go, "Oh, it's not a Singapore Sling," because there have been so many recipes over the years. Little tweaks don't matter, in my opinion. I'll be staying to the core of what most people put in a Singapore Sling, but it'll have 1 or 2 twists. In fact, starting with the gin I'm using. Usually it would be done with a dry gin, but I am going to use this Pinot Noir finished gin. Well, it's a gin from 40 Spotted in Tasmania that was aged in Pinot Noir barrels. And as you can see, it is not clear like most gins are. It's taken on the colours and also the aromas and tastes of the Pinot Noir. So it's got a different flavour to most gins. You wouldn't put this in a normal Singapore Sling, but because the clarification process is going to modify this anyway, I'm starting with this. And I'm going to make a bit of a batch of this because the whole process is involved, so I might as well make it worthwhile. And I'm going to start with 3 parts gin.
Wait, how long is this going to take?
Don't worry about that, it's a good drink, that's what counts. So now for some liqueurs, and first up is some Benedictine. In relation to the gin, there were 3 parts gin, I'm going to add 1 part Benedictine. Now I'm going to add some orange liqueur. If you're making this yourself, you could go with the orange liqueur you like, whether that's a triple sec or even a Grand Marnier. I'm going to use this dry curacao from local distiller The Marionette, and it's the same amount as the Benedictine. I'm going to put 1 part orange liqueur. Final liqueur is some cherry liqueur, and it's going to be in the same amount as the other liqueurs. Going to add 1 part of cherry liqueur. Now we're adding some fruit juices, starting with pineapple juice. Going to add the same amount as I did gin. It will be 3 parts pineapple juice. Here's another of my tweaks. I'm also going to add some orange juice. You wouldn't usually see orange juice in a Singapore Sling, but I'm using it, well, for 2 reasons. One, because as I said, the flavors are softened somewhat, so a bit of orange juice is going to boost the fruity elements. Also, I had some oranges I just squeezed and I want to use the juice while it's fresh. So I'm also going to add 3 parts orange juice. The final fruit juice is lime juice, and I'm going to add slightly less. There will be 2 parts lime juice in this drink. To round things out, some bitters. Normally it'd be 1 dash of bitters in a Singapore Sling, so depending how much you make, you will make that much bitters in. So I'm putting in about 3 to 4 dashes of bitters. That's all the ingredients. You'll notice that makes quite a dark, opaque, and even cloudy drink. That's important to remember when you see the final product. But now we're going to add that to the milk, and we're going to slowly pour that in, and it's important you add the drink to the milk, not the other way around, and the ratio should be 1 part milk to 4 parts drink. I got to say, that looks disgusting. Yeah, you'll see it starts to curdle almost straight away. We're going to leave it for a while, and it will look even grosser as it starts to separate. But when that's ready, we're going to pour it through a paper coffee filter. And it's important to remember, although we're pouring it through a coffee filter, the curds are doing the hard work, and they won't settle to the bottom straight away. So the first bit of drink that pours through will actually be a little bit cloudy. So if you try and make this yourself at home, what you want to do is let some of the drink run through, and when that slows down a bit, you take that first bit and put it back through. Or you could even put the entire drink through twice. That is going through really slowly. How long is this going to take? Oh yeah, this could easily take an hour or two. What? But I want a drink! And you're getting a drink! A really special one! I want a drink now! Wow! Rude! Look, you just drop that attitude and you wait. I've said it before, I'll say it again. This is the weirdest bar I have ever been to. 2 hours later.
It's been 84 years.
It has not been that long, you little drama queen. Besides, look how good the finished product is. Who would have believed we'd get this beautiful, clear, amber drink out of that goopy mess we had earlier? Okay, the taste is nothing like I was expecting. Oh, it starts off sweet, then it's got an almost wine-like taste. So it's weird, it's like an echo of all those flavors. The fruit flavors are in there. Wow, this is amazing. But is there any way I can get one without waiting so long? Well, I could batch it ahead of time, because one of the benefits of the clarifying process is it's actually more stable and preserves its taste for longer than a drink that's made with fresh fruit juice. Why didn't you make this one ahead of time? I didn't know you wanted it ahead of time. How about in future you have one ready? I'll just take whatever you've got made. Oh, fine, if you're going to be such a prima donna about it. You made me wait 2 hours. Well, excuse me. You don't exactly look like the sort of person who has a lot going on. Ow! That's just mean. Well, do you have a lot going on? No. Didn't have to point it out. Fair enough. If you come back, I'll have a different clarified cocktail and it will be ready. And I'll just be able to pour it out for you. Because apparently my job is to do whatever you want.